In this video, I want to talk about ultralight touring skis and whether I think it's worth it. So 3 years ago, I was sitting in my office looking at sub 1 kilogram ultralight touring skis and getting ready to smash that buy button. But my expectations were a little bit different than the reality. So let me tell you about my experience with ultralight touring skis. So these are a Kastle 77 width, 166 length touring skis. At the time, this was their lightest touring ski available. Now, I got the narrower width and I got the shorter length because it's lighter. So, any less material you have, it's going to lighten the ski. Skimo racers, they've known this for years, and they even have narrower skis than this one. But the problem with the narrower skis is when you're going down, they don't perform as well. And the reason for that is because when you get chunks of snow on the slope, it really deflects the ski. So, if you get something really chunky, these skis can be all over the place. And it can be more like the ski is skiing you rather than you skiing the ski, if that makes sense. I kind of knew that, but the place I like to go, it's really not that steep. It's more of a low angle incline. And I'm thinking, okay, I can get down in half the ski that I usually use. But what really surprised me was when I was going up and I thought I was just going to fly up there, I was noticing these were a little bit draggier. They had more of a drag on the glide than I was used to. And I think I know why. Because the ski, like I said, it's a 77 width and it's 162 length. That means that the surface area is only 1,300 square centimeters. These ones, on the other hand, the ones that I was used to were 1,900 square centimeters. So what that means is that when you factor in all my weight, I think that I'm getting less pounds per square inch on these wider skis. They're more floating on the top of the snow and
Whoa,
getting better glide.
this is so
That's
nice.
especially obvious on low angle terrain. I'm saying that I actually ski down better with the wider skis, the heavier skis, but I also made just as much distance with these wider and heavier skis. So it's like, why am I even using these lighter, narrow skis? It almost seems like the heavier skis are better every time, but not so fast. Because what happened after a few months was that spring came. And in the spring, what happens is the snow, it starts getting freeze and thaw cycles, and it starts compacting that snow and becomes really dense. And in that dense snow, these skis are staying on top of it and they're not sinking down. And the other thing that changed was my type of skiing changed because I started looking at more mission objectives. Like I started looking at trying to get to the top of the volcano. And when I was taking that approach, the angle was increasing. And that's where I really started to feel the weight difference between these skis. Because if you're really pushing these up at an angle, these ones, they seem twice as heavy, which they are, right? They're twice as heavy. But that's when I can really start feeling it on my feet, is when that angle started increasing. And then, like I said, that denser snow, they were gliding just as well as these skis because they weren't sinking in. And like I said, my personal objective with that wasn't so much to have fun skiing down, which these are more fun skiing down, but it's more about the objective to get to the top of the mountain. The other area where I do think that these kind of shine is if you're on a groomer and you got a really fresh groom on it, so there's pretty much snow variation. If you want to carve on the way down, these being a narrower skis, they're better for carving. They're better for that edge control. So I do like them in that regard too. That might be another thing you want to consider if you do a lot of like laps in the morning before the ski runs open. These also might be a good selection for that case. But in general, I'm going to say if it's wintertime and you got softer snow
This is
and you're
sweet.
looking for fun, and you're looking for fun on the way down, I should say, that's when I wouldn't worry so much about weight because you don't feel it as much on those low angle groom tracks. And you're really going to like the wide, longer skis in that case. It's going to be more fun. And these are just like if you're more a mission oriented skier and you don't care as much about the way down, that's when I would go for these ultralight skis. So yeah, I hope this kind of insight is valuable to you. I also did another video on alpine touring versus backcountry cross country skis. So that's even kind of a more extreme case. But if you're interested at all, go check that one out, and I'll talk to you guys later.